Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about the gun world, but we also talk about what we're going to do to fix it. Now, the content that I'm going to show you today is possibly one of the best examples of why the Washington Post is losing 500,000 subscribers and is going to endure headcounts pretty soon. We're going to talk about Brazil, and no one can be this obtuse on accident. This is clear bias, and this is one to send out because it shows not only what we've been saying about guns prevent crime in the hands of individuals and legal citizens, but also the fact that gun control fails on its face and they've got to try everything they possibly can to justify their means. As I mentioned, everything will be linked in the description box, and if you are new, we would love to have you like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button, because every single person in the fold and in the trenches helps us move the Second Amendment forward for the next generation. Thank you so much in advance for your consideration, but now I'm going to say a quick word from our sponsor, Core Essentials, and then we're going to hit it. Now, Core Essentials is a belt that I'm actually wearing right now, and it's a high-quality belt, and I can vouch for it personally. It's extremely well done. But a few of the things they want you to know about. They make the best fitting and most comfortable belts, and they are the most secure gun belts you're ever going to wear. A hidden track with over 40 size positions that you can adjust on the move. The result is a perfect fit. The stiff power core center provides total support for your firearm and keeps it completely secure. They're made with the best quality materials and warranted for a year. Thank you so much to Core Essentials, and there's a link in the description box below. But my brothers and sisters, we have got to take a trip down to Brazil, and I got to walk you through a few of the things that I'm going to show you, because over the past 4 to 5 years, ownership in Brazil has expanded 6 times, sixfold, because the president, Jair Bolsonaro, loosened gun restrictions. We talked about that a lot. And there was a corresponding dive in the gun homicides in the country of Brazil. Now, of course, we can't have a reason of why the gun would be good. We've got to talk about all the reasons and really reach for the fact that it can't be that. It's got to be some other factors. That's what I'm going to show you right now, and please send this out because this is a perfect example when you apply this to the United States as well. Let's get it. Gun ownership went up. Killings went down, and Brazil debates why. Why do we have to go deeper than that headline? It's pretty simple. You loosened restrictions. Brazilians, in this case, actually got more gun rights, and crime went down. It's pretty straightforward. Listen to the reasons that they state as of why it's obvious that they couldn't have been the guns. It's got to be something else. The gun owners of Brazil are proclaiming victory these days. Private gun ownership, once tightly restricted in Latin America's largest country, has grown at least sixfold in the last 4 years since President Jair Bolsonaro relaxed the rules. Keep that in mind. Sixfold increase, 4 years. Okay? That's 2018, 2017. Check this out. What's more, gun enthusiasts say it's working. The homicide rate in Brazil, one of the world's most violent countries, has fallen more than 27% since 2017. That's directly in correlation with the exact same time that they released gun restrictions, and it increased sixfold. Keep those numbers in mind and listen to the reason they're actually putting forward of why it wasn't the guns. Check this out. Not so fast, criminologists say. They've spent the past 4 years trying to understand the unexpected decline, and say it has little to do with Bolsonaro or his decrees, even though the timelines line up perfectly, even though the data is right there in front of you. No. It conflicts with my personal preconceived bias. It's got to be something else. Let's dig deeper. Listen to what they found. All right? Found. Much violent crime in Brazil, and homicides in particular, stems from turf battles between well-armed drug cartels that control favelas or slums throughout the country. The victims were predominantly poor young men of color. In 2017, a major war between the country's 2 biggest cartels drove gun-related homicides to record levels. So their answer and the reason of why gun crime went down was because there's so many armed criminals and so many armed drug dealers that they were just killing each other at such a great rate, it artificially increased the homicide rate. Completely negating the fact that, number one, that's a reason why you'd want a well-armed populace for self-defense. That's one. The second thing is completely negating the idea that when guns were introduced, it started falling. Interesting. Well, your first example was well-armed drug cartels and criminals having better armament than the police, so that's not a great start. Bolsonaro has also reaped the benefits of a decade of investment in policing, said Isabel Figueiredo, I can't say her name, also a member of the Brazilian Public Security Forum, a non-profit research group that has advocated for tougher gun laws. So the second example of why gun violence went down was because of a decade of policing. So decades of policing that just had a lag time that kicked in exactly when gun restrictions were eased or loosened. Is anyone else buying this? Because these are the same talking points they use in the United States. These are the same talking points they use everywhere in the world. Because as you look at the raw data, you have to come up with some reason, some outside force that would not conflict with your bias, because this is clearly biased results. It's obvious. You had a decrease of regulations. Then the guns went up and you had a decrease of crime. It's not overly complicated. It's not because of a decade of policing that kicked in exactly when gun regulations were loosened, because that's kind of silly. And probably a really good reason to say that it was not a good idea was not armed criminals and armed gangs and favelas. I'm just saying, you're kind of proving our point. But let's keep going. I got one more thing for you. This is what tyrants say. This is the new administration, the new advisors to the new guy who's going in the presidential palace in Brazil. Lula's advisor, that's the president, said he plans to reverse many of Bolsonaro's decrees. This part. But they have also acknowledged that once you recognize rights, it's difficult to take them away. Kind of it in a nutshell, isn't it? Whenever a dictatorial power, whenever a tyrannical government comes in, they are never giving rights back to the people. Why? Because once you give them and they taste the freedom and they see the results, it's difficult to take them away. If that's not tyranny in a nutshell, I don't know what is. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.